Last Cloudia is out, everybody rejoice. Now with that being said, it is also that time of the year to start the rerolls, baby. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you who you should reroll for and why. Now I will be going over one to two people, let me say, in every single category, which includes magic attackers, physical attackers, healers, and of course tanks. Now let me say this, if you are rerolling, you want to prioritize magic DPS, physical DPS, heals, and then tank. In that order, that should be your priority. Magic DPS is extremely strong in this game. It used to be even more broken, but I'm pretty sure they toned it down a lot from what a lot of JP players say, but magic damage is absurd. Physical damage is also good, you know, just because I say magic damage is absurd, do not think that physical damage isn't, it's also good too. And the same thing with healers and tanks. So I'm actually going to go backwards for this because I just want to, so yeah. So we're going to go over the tanks first. Now, the one tank that I personally recommend is the Prince. The Prince is an absolute beast. With the Golem Ark, which we'll talk about some arcs in a second that you should reroll for, but with the Golem Ark, which is currently featured on the banner, with Shin and Lena, I think her name is, Grom actually becomes the best tank in the game. He is extremely tanky with that arc, and he's very, very strong. Now, of course, you can use other arcs with him if you want to, but that's like kind of his best in slot arc from what I know. So what does Grom bring to the table, OP? Well, Grom's going to give you a lot of crowd control, okay? He's going to give you a lot of crowd control. He's going to give you a lot of continuous damage skills, and then not only that, he's also going to give you a really nice, juicy HP recovery with his ultimate. I'm talking about this guy will heal everybody. If you do not get full health by the end of this ultimate, I guess you're like a 20,000 HP character. He also has some nice passives as well, which I'm pretty sure he has to unlock these through the skill tree. He has one where whenever he reaches 0 HP, which means he dies, in the next wave he'll actually revive himself with 1 HP. He also has another thing where he increases his defense and mind whenever an ally is down. That is a little bit unfortunate though. It does require for one of your teammates to be down, but hey, he's going to increase it and he's going to be very, very strong whenever that happens. So yeah, that's all I want to say about Grom. He has the automatic revive every single turn if you need it. He also can heal everybody up. Very solid unit. He's going to give you that crowd control as well, and overall he's going to be able to protect your magic DPS a lot. So I'm actually going to go over two characters for the healing / support role, with the first one being the Princess. Now the Princess is pretty nice and pretty nutty, if I must say so myself. Her first ability will recover HP to the ally with the lowest HP. Her second ability is just a long range combo attack, and then her third ability is just a long distance light damage attack, and then her ultimate is recover MP of all allies with a continuous attack on all enemies. This is a pretty nice ultimate because of the more and more you play this game, you will know that you will need to value your MP a lot. She'll even get more stuff with her skill tree and all that. I'm not covering that in this video because of course this video will go on forever, but she's gonna give you more stuff. Her passive as well will increase the crit rate of light attribute abilities against enemies with negative light resist. So any type of like dark enemy, maybe even possibly demons, you're gonna have a better chance to crit against them. So overall, I really like the Princess. I think she's very top tier. Now the next healer I actually want to talk about is more healing based than the last one. The last one was kind of a mixture of support and healing. This is a pure heal. We're talking about Lena, aka the Warlock. Now the Warlock, what does she do? Her first ability is that she's going to deal earth damage against mid-range enemies, so anybody that's in that mid-range area she will deal damage to. Her second ability is also a short-range ability as well, and it also has greater effect for anybody that can use magic. And then her third ability is a small recovery to all allies HP. Then finally her ultimate is an AoE heal, and not only is an AoE heal, it also gives you HP regen, which is very, very strong. Not only this, her passives or her traits, I guess you could say, is that one of them is she will reduce the amount of MP consumed by recovery magic, and then her second ability is recover magic becomes critical. I'm not for sure. If you guys actually have her in game, please leave what that means down below because that's what it says on Google Translate, so I'm not for sure what completely that means. But she was really strong in the Japanese version of the game because she was just overall top tier healer. If you need a healer, you bring her, you won't die. Now, moving on to our physical DPSs. We have our first unit here, which is Sevi. Sevia is really, really good. She's a physical DPS, and she has a lot of stuff going for her. Her first ability is a mid-range continuous attack. Her second ability is also a mid-range continuous attack, but I'm pretty sure you have to be in the air if I'm not mistaken, or it does better against airborne enemies, I guess you could say. And then her third ability is an ice attack that's also a mid-range attack. And then finally, her fourth ability, or her ultimate, is that she gives everyone damage reduction. I'm not actually for sure on the percentage. If you guys know the percentage, please leave it down there in the comment section below. She also has her traits as well. Now, I could be wrong about this, but if I'm not mistaken, this is how it works, and I remember her getting nerfed on the Japanese side of the game because this was so broken whenever it first came out. Every time she crits, she will recover her HP by 20. And not only this, she will also increase her crit rate of ice attacks as well. Whenever the game first released, about 6 months ago in JP, she was nutty. I think this was actually a 200 or something. It was really huge, the amount of healing she could do, and she could just stay alive endlessly. They actually had to nerf it and tone it down a little bit to this 20 so she can actually die. But she's a really good unit, really fun unit. I personally love her, and I use her on my team currently in Global. And then the last unit that I want to talk about before we move on to the big daddy himself is Shin. Shin is another physical attacker unit. However, he is more focused on single target damage. His first skill is a mid-range attack. His second skill is a short-range continuous attack. His third skill is also a short-range continuous attack. However, this third skill allows you to knock enemies up into the air, so you will be able to combo them with other abilities. And then his ultimate is a single target. It can only be used on one enemy. Is a single target, extremely powerful continuous attack. Also, the animation for Shin, top tier. Good lord, do I love that animation. He also has a chance to negate physical damage. He also has Mind's Eye, which is he'll reduce guard effects when enemy guards. So whenever an enemy guards, it's going to be less effective against him. So Shin overall, very strong DPS unit. I actually used him all the time in JP. And overall, Shin, very strong. Carry you through a lot of the game. Really good unit. Also, he hits really hard. Like, no lie, that ultimate is some crazy damage. And then final, the last unit I want to talk about. This guy is probably the best unit in the game currently. Since magic damage is so strong, actually I want to say that there is another unit, but we'll talk about him after this. And that's the boy Dyne. Dyne is absolutely ridiculous. Skills are really fun to use, animations are nice, overall really fun unit. So his first skill is a mid-range fire attack. His second skill is a mid-range fire attack as well. His third skill is just a attack on all enemies around him. And then his ultimate is a powerful attack with the flame attribute to all enemies. So you guys can see that this guy is very heavy on flame damage. He also has his first ability, which reduces MP consumption of flame magic. He has his second ability, which is when fire attribute magic is activated, change to dark attribute if the enemy's fire resist is higher than dark resist. So this means that no matter what, he should always be hitting really hard with his magic, which is really nice. Now, however, I do not know if this works on his skills, since magic is a completely different thing. But if it does work for his skills as well, where his skills will actually start doing dark damage instead of fire damage, you guys let me know down below. But I also have this guy on my global team, and let me tell you, good lord, does this guy do some damage. So let's say you don't get that lucky, and even though I recommended Dyne, who else could be put on your team for the magic damage slot? And I won't cover him too much in this video, but I want to talk about Zechs. Zechs is really, really good. He's a free unit that you get from the story, and very strong, let me say. His first skill is a long-range AoE attack. However, this AoE attack is very short range, but the range that it has is very long, if you understand what I mean by that. His second skill is a mid-range ice damage skill that has a chance to inflict defense down. His third skill is he'll deal consecutive ice attacks to all enemies. And then his final skill will increase the strength and int of all allies. He also reduces the MP consumption of ice magic. And then his second trait is whenever he is channeling his magic, he can no longer be interrupted. And while channeling his magic, he takes reduced damage. So this guy would be the next unit that I would recommend if you are not lucky enough and cannot get Dyne. I don't know how long this video has been going on for, but those are the units that I recommend. Now, I also want to talk about the arks as well. The arks are not going to take nearly as long as the units, so you guys shouldn't be here for much longer. So the one ark that I want to talk about is the Airship. The Airship is absolutely insane. This thing will give you a ton of stats, and not only does it give you a ton of stats, its skill is also insane as well. If you want to know what skill does, it will activate a barrier for you every time a new wave starts in the quest, which is broken. Now, I don't want to talk about too much else about what this thing gives you, but trust me on this, guys, this thing is ridiculous, and it is definitely the best arc in the game right now for both physical and magic damage dealers, and tanks or whatever you want. And the next thing that I want to talk about is the pirate ship. The pirate ship is more of a physical attacking arc, but this is also, I want to say, the second best arc in the game. To put it simple, what does this thing give you, OP? This thing, from what it seems like to me, whenever I read the description, of course, Google Translate, thank you, Google, there's no English wiki yet. It seems like it reduces skill CT for your entire team. And like I said, I'm not going to go over everything else it does because I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. Now, with that being said, I do want to talk about something with the arcs one last time. Just because I did not mention all the other arcs does not mean the other ones are irrelevant. There is a ton, and I mean a ton, of good arcs. But I don't want to keep this video going on for too long, so SR and even R arcs are very, very strong. Some SR arcs are actually better than SSR arcs. but these are the two that stand out currently for global. Now guys, that's gonna be it for the video today, man. Thank you all for coming out. I got a lot of editing to do. I got a lot of videos to record for Last Cloudia and Grand Summoners alike. So if you guys want to stick around to see what I'm making, of course, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button as well. Share the video if you want to with your friends and all that if they're waiting to start the game, so they also know what units to go for when started. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a good day, man. It's Biddy Boy OP, and I'm out, guys. Peace.